Hi, everyone. Hello. We are just going to wait and see for more people to join us. It's a pleasure to be the first, having my first live on the page, meeting you all. Hi, Thuraya. How are you? Hi. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hello, William. How are you doing? Okay. We have a couple of people with us now. So I am ready to start. The live that I'm presenting today is not going to be for our intermediate to advanced English speakers. This is definitely going to be for people who are just trying to get used to speaking with other English speakers. Maybe you've met some foreigners here in Tunisia and you want to get to know them, say, an introduction, introduce yourself, and to be able to ask questions. A lot of times when we are learning a new language, we're excited to try out this language, especially when we see someone in our neighborhood or in where we live speaking this language. So, hi, Janine, how are you? Okay, so here we're going to go. Best questions to get to know someone. All right. Can you guys think of some basic questions that you need to ask when you're getting to know someone? You can write it in the comment box. Hi, Anise. Basic questions. Let me get some of your ideas. What do you think a basic question would be? This is a question we all ask right when we first meet someone. Anybody want to write in the comments, what's a basic question that you can ask when you're meeting someone for the very first time? Right, good job, Thurayo. You can ask, where are they from? Okay, that's an easy one. Great. What's your name? Perfect. Our names. And when we are asking and we want to get to know somebody, a very good practice is to introduce ourselves first, okay? Pro tip for you, when meeting someone for the first time, it may be better to avoid questions that are too personal. You don't want to scare off your new acquaintance by invading their privacy, okay? So younger individuals might have no problem telling you, where or what grade they're in or what year in school. But older individuals, especially women, we might not be comfortable with answering questions such as our age right off the bat, or right off the bat means right away. Instead, it's more polite to be very general with our questions. Okay, Jeanette, very great question. Okay, so some examples of how we can approach someone we would like to meet for the very first time. Okay, now this is an awkward situation that we're often put in. There's somebody that you want to say hi to, you want to practice your English, you can hear them using some of the language and vocabulary that you've been practicing here at Wall Street English. and you don't know how to broach the gap to actually introduce yourself. Okay, you made a great point. It really does depend on where you are, how easy it's going to be to talk to that person. Okay, so Anise, great answer about profession. So these are some ways that we can introduce and first start off the communication with that person. Okay, so morning. I don't think we've met before. I'm Erin. Okay, very polite, very approachable, nothing forceful at all. The next example, hi there, I'm Sarah. I'm new. I just moved into the building a couple of days ago. So this introduction is a little different. We're still being very pleasant, but now we're linking what we want to talk about. We're talking about something in common. Okay. Very, very good. Okay. Next, hi, Amy. I heard it's your first day, so I thought I could reach out and introduce myself. Okay, another linking. When you link things together, you're creating a bridge from the beginning to what you want to talk about next. Okay, and this is great in communication, especially when you're trying to introduce or get to know someone. You want a path to follow in the conversation where things lead on to further things. One topic can lead on to another topic, and it won't be so awkward. These follow-on questions are essential, okay? So I've given you 3 examples here of how to approach someone. Would anybody like to add in a different way that you could introduce yourself to someone? Maybe you don't know the connection yet, but you're trying to establish that connection. What is a good introduction you might come up with? Okay, I'll read out the first 2 that put it in the comments. All right. An introduction. Maybe you see someone across the room, they're talking about a vacation, you're hearing some of the vocabulary, you've also been to that place, you don't know this person, but maybe you want to introduce yourself and get to know them. What is a way that you can introduce yourself? You can write in chat, anyone? All right. If I was in this situation and I heard the place, I might come up to that individual and I might say, "Oh, I just happened to hear you mention Venice. I can't believe what's happening in Venice with the water rising. I don't even think it's going to be able to be visited in the next 20 years. My name's Tiffany, by the way. When was the last time you've been to Venice?" So you link maybe what you heard with your name, a follow-up question, okay? Great job. Okay, your introduction. If your introduction wants to be a little bit more informative, just remember that short and simple is best when you're introducing yourself. You don't want to overshare information. If you did overshare, that person would have too much information to process, and maybe it will take away an opportunity for them to ask you questions. When you're having a conversation with somebody, it needs to be natural. It needs to be one person speaking and then the next, let the conversation flow in a very natural way. The tip here on the screen is to say that you should be genuine in your introduction and possibly a bit mysterious. Don't lay it all out there. Give your new acquaintance an opportunity to ask another question. Okay? Let's see here. Yes, William, you can. You can definitely ask about some general common interest. Yes, youth, they definitely like the sports, food, everything. So that's a great thing. So if I had a very short and sweet introduction, I would say, hi, I just wanted to come over and meet you if that's okay. I'm Tiffany. I've been living here in Tunisia for quite a while now, but I'm originally from abroad. If this is the question, or if this is the introduction that I just presented to you, what would be a great question that you could ask that links to what I just had my introduction be? What would be a great linking question? Is there any information in my introduction that you aren't aware of that you would like to know more? Maybe you could ask, why am I living in Tunisia? Or if I'm not originally from Tunisia and I am from abroad, where? Maybe you can ask nationality. Okay? Very, very good. All right. Normally, in this point in the conversation, after you've introduced yourself, someone would take this as a social cue to introduce themselves, okay? They will reply in kind, maybe with a short introduction, or perhaps they just say their name. At this point, it's important that you try to remember the name. And if you want them to repeat their name, there are some different ways you can ask them to do that. You can simply ask, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, or sorry, I didn't get that. That's if you heard the name, but maybe you're unsure of how it was pronounced, or you might have mistaken it for a different name and you just want to hear it again. Okay? Okay, now this is something that I've seen in the comments. You need to think about one of the more natural ways to get to know someone is by talking about the situation you are both in. Now, as an example, on the left side of the screen here, are you in the same friend circles? Okay. Many times when you are first being introduced to someone or the first time you see someone new, you may be introduced by one of your shared acquaintances or one of your shared friends. In these cases, it's sometimes easier to communicate on how you know your mutual acquaintances. And you don't have to dive right into all of what is about you or what is about that person, but more natural communication where you can say, I saw you come in with Jennifer. She is great. I've been working with her for 2 years now. Where do you know her from? Okay, this provides the person an opportunity to have a focus in what they're going to talk about. And also, they don't have to share anything too personal about themselves. And they're also linking that they have a common friend with you. So it's an easy way to have an opening in the communication. Okay. Now, let's see here. Oh, Wham, that was a great idea right there. Some cultures' names coincide with a direct meaning. In other cultures, it's not language derived, but maybe it has a meaning from history. And if you have a very unique name, exactly, you can ask them, oh, you know, I've heard this name once or twice before. I think it's beautiful. What's the name mean? Especially in Arabic countries, we know that as foreigners, when I meet someone here in Tunisia, I know immediately that 90% of the time that their name has a direct translation into something. Nabil would be noble, Amira is princess, things like this. And I think it's a fantastic way to open communication, especially if you're talking to this foreigner or you're talking to someone who may not be from Tunisia, and you can say, hey, you know, my name is, it means, and it's a great kind of icebreaker. My name means gracious or generous. What does your name mean in your culture? Again, we're linking the ideas between what we're talking about, and we're not forcing, we're guiding the conversation. And it's great. Oh, very nice, William. It means harmony. Okay. All right. Now, another common thing besides your friend circles might just be the situation that you're in. Okay, are you doing something at the same time? Are you participating in an activity? Or are you both just at a same restaurant or a venue at the same time? Okay, so if you are, then you can ask the example question here. Do you come here often? How do you find it here? That question, how do you find it here? It's not asking you the directions. How do I find this place? No, it's asking you your opinion. Okay, and you're just asking the other person their opinion. How do you find it here in Tunisia? How do you find it here at Wall Street English? I love it. It's amazing. I want to take all my friends and family. Or this is my first experience at the La Marsa Corniche. I would love to come here more often. The weather is warming up. I think I will. So link what you're doing or your surroundings into the conversation. Okay, great. Now, we can start asking some good first questions. So we've had our introduction. We've talked about their names, how to get their name, your name, and introducing to the area, perhaps of what you have in common, the area, or who you have in common, being your friends or family. Now, you need to remember when you decide on which questions to ask first, think about what drew you to this person. Are you thinking that you want to get to know them and their culture, or do you think you want to open up a networking type of relationship with this person? The different reasons why you want to introduce yourself to this person will determine the type of questions that you ask. So we've seen this question a lot in the comments already. What do you do? Right? This question is one of the most common first questions asked as adults when meeting someone for the first time. Can you think why? What are some reasons why this is one of the first questions that we ask? You can write it in the comment box. Why do we ask, what do you do? And for those who don't know this question, what do you do is the same as what do you do for work? What is your job? How do you make money? This type of question. Why do we say, what do you do? Okay, while you are thinking, I will answer your question. This question is initially used because it's something that I'm over exaggerating. The majority of adults, we work. We have bills to pay. We need to be able to support ourselves, our families. And how do we do this? It's something that most of us do. Most of us have a job. It's easy to talk about our jobs and how we provide more so than it is talking about our personal selves first. A job is the things that you do. It may not necessarily be who you are. Okay? So, additionally, this question also offers us a lot of follow-up type of questions to even gain more information on our new acquaintance. Okay? So, what do you do? Oh, you're a service manager at Wall Street English. How long have you been doing that? Okay, so it's giving them an opportunity to build up information and giving you the opportunity to gain more information by who you're asking these questions to. Another thing for me to point out is that when you ask these questions, it may not be something that they are necessarily going to want to answer right away, possibly. So if you ever come to someone, it's very likely that they might want to overgeneralize what they do. They might not want to give you specifics. Don't take that the wrong way. Take it as an opportunity that you can ask more specific questions, or if you are getting the type of signals or feedback that this is not a topic that they want to discuss, use it as an opportunity to change the course of the conversation, maybe to go into something more neutral. Okay? So, what's the best part of your job? Okay? This is getting to know maybe their opinions. You can start to understand if this person may be an introvert or an extrovert based on how they answer these questions. And it's great to understand more about their personality. Okay? What did you do before? Why is that question a great question? That question allows you to see the history of the person. And history is something we all have. We all started from somewhere and we are where we are today, but that doesn't say that this is where we're going to be forever. Our history develops our character and our choices develop our future. Okay? Write that down. It's good. Now, here are some more questions that we can ask when we're first meeting someone. Where do you live? Now, be aware here, it says that some people may feel uncomfortable giving specifics, just as I said in the last question about what do you do. They might want to generalize their answer. So I'm not going to give you my mailing address, but I may tell you that I live near Carthage. And if I told you that that is where I live, or if somebody responded to your question, you can use that piece of information, Carthage. Oh, you must have seen the Punic port in Carthage. Isn't it beautiful? I can't believe there's so many Roman and Carthaginian history still preserved here in Tunisia. And find out those specific things, and it offers you a chance to maybe grow in your understanding of this person. Maybe they haven't lived there long enough and they haven't seen these things. That gives you an opportunity to say, hey, well, I know, when it's open, I know how you can get a ticket, that type of sort. So you're opening up the relationship, the friendship even further. Okay. Additionally, how long have you been living there? So that goes back to what I said. If they've been living there for a very long time, maybe you can be the one asking questions. Oh, what's your advice? Where should I go and eat in that part of the neighborhood? Or if they haven't, I know great recommendations. Would you like to know? Okay. What's the best part of living there? This is an interesting question because, again, when you're asking very open-ended questions like this, you can feel out their personality more. If they said the best part about living there is that, the traffic isn't close by, my children can walk out in the street, they're giving you more information where you can start developing a picture of this individual. Oh, if, they're concerned about, making sure that their family is safe and their children are safe to play in the, playground, maybe she's from, a very well developed family unit, or that she wants, she cares about the safety. This is just more information that you're gaining from your conversation. All right. And then Next type of questions you have is, do you have any hobbies? Okay. Hobbies. This is one of my favorite type of questions because when we have hobby questions being introduced, what's happening is that you're giving the person an opportunity to talk about what really interests them. Okay. Now, when someone has an interest in their hobby, they actually open up and they're more willing to talk about the thing that they may be passionate about. So, in addition to hobbies, what else do you like doing in your free time? Do you play any sports? Do you play any musical instruments? Okay. This last one, how long have you been doing it? This is showing, maybe they're a dedicated person. Maybe they've been, doing bodybuilding for 17 years. And, you can ask follow-up questions, have you ever competed? I would love some tips. I'm starting to get in a routine of health myself. And, I can see that you've been doing this a long time. What do you recommend? It's just creating the natural flow for the conversation. Okay. Now, remember that you can always answer your own questions first if the new acquaintance is shy or doesn't know what they want to say. Okay. If you asked me a question such as, uh, why are you in Tunisia? And as an expat, maybe, circumstances brought me here, but I don't want to share those circumstances. You could answer if you were, from Egypt or if you were from Tatooine. I came to Tunis because, I have a job opportunity here that I couldn't pass up. And I really want the experience to go on my resume. I hope to apply for this type of job in Europe one day. You know, you don't have to wait for an answer before you can always provide your own answer to the question that you ask. Okay? And that brings me to the conclusion of my first live here on the Wall Street English page. I hope you learned some useful questions that you'll be able to ask whenever you meet someone and that you want to get to know them. All right? So, thank you. Thank you. If you have any questions or you want any advice about some questions, go ahead. You can put it in the comments. Please, you can share this video with your friends, your family, anybody about simple, easy questions that you can ask to get to know somebody in English. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much, and bye.